Greetings to all fans of good movies. In this video, I'm going to tell you about a war drama film called Allied.
We believe your wife is a German spy.
Seriously, Frank, who is this?
Morocco, a French colony in 1942. Canadian agent Max Faden discreetly arrives in the country on a secret mission. In the desert, he is picked up by a local contact. In the car, the man hands our protagonist everything he needs to successfully complete his difficult mission. And in the evening, he brings him to a luxury restaurant. Here, Max must meet his partner for the first time. The girl brings the man to the table and introduces him to her friends. According to the legend, this duo is a married couple who had to be apart for a long time due to a lot of work. Our characters manage to get into the role well, so that no one at the table doubts it. Soon, Max politely apologizes to everyone present and takes his fake wife home to be alone with her.
Not bad.
You weren't so bad yourself.
On the way home, the two get to know each other for real. The girl's name is Marianne Bassijour, and she is a member of the French resistance. 2 months ago, she was transferred to the local embassy to monitor the German mission. In Casablanca, in 10 days, there will be a reception that our characters must attend. There, they will have to neutralize the German ambassador. This event can only be accessed by invitation, so Max still needs to obtain one. Left alone, the two talk only about the mission. They have agreed not to discuss their personal lives because it could jeopardize their common cause. According to local tradition, husbands spend their nights on the roof, and their wives lovingly check on them in the evening. To avoid arousing suspicion from curious neighbors, our heroes do the same. On the roof, they have to simulate a passionate conversation, so Max decides to share his dream with a girl. After the war, he plans to move to a ranch on the prairie and start a new life there. As they part, Marie asks him to kiss her, so that the neighbor observing them will not have any questions.
J'ai tant de temps.
Ta tante, Antoinette, ta tante.
Antoinette.
In the morning, the girl teaches Max Parisian accent and brings him up to speed. Additionally, fine clothes and French perfume have already been prepared for him. In order to obtain a pass, the two of them need to integrate into the social life in a short amount of time. Dressed up, they go to a crowded place and sit at a table where they can be seen by everyone. Soon, Max notices a German officer whom he has encountered in one of his previous assignments. The Nazi officer also recognizes Max and discreetly heads towards the telephone. To avoid jeopardizing the mission, our character must neutralize the German officer in a way that appears accidental. The risky maneuver is successful, and the duo continues to follow their plan. In the evenings, they make new acquaintances, and when they are alone, they pretend to be a happy couple. Soon, Marie arranges for Max to meet her boss, who is responsible for issuing invitations to the gala reception. Upon arriving at the embassy, Max carefully surveys the exits and assesses the situation. Preparations for the event are in full swing, so no one pays attention to the inquisitive man. Marie joins Max, and together they are invited into the office. As professionals in their field, the two manage to deceive their boss and obtain the missing invitation from him, despite encountering some challenges along the conversation.
We get our chance to make history.
On the night before the important mission, our characters find it difficult to sleep. Max suggests a trip to the desert to witness what could be their last sunrise. Seated on the sand, they discuss their chances of success and acknowledge that they are not particularly high. They also dream about a happy life after the war. As a strong wind whips up in the desert, the two are forced to return to the car. Left alone amidst a veil of sand, they can no longer contain their emotions. In the evening, they dress in their finest attire and attend the reception. The plan is for the ambassador to appear before the guests at 9:30, and 5 minutes later, the partisans will detonate a car at the entrance to create panic and divert attention. Additionally, weapons are concealed under the table for our characters. With a slight delay, the German ambassador enters the hall, and a minute later, an explosion occurs. Max draws his weapon and ruthlessly shoots his target, as well as all other armed Nazis. The girl is compelled to kill her friend's husband, who picks up the gun of the deceased officer. The agents successfully complete their mission and depart the city together in a car.
We're both alive.
Come with me to London. Come with me to London and be my wife.
The film is set in London, 3 weeks after the events described earlier. By this time, Commander Vathan has managed to transition to staff work. Upon arriving at the headquarters, he is immediately summoned to his superior's office. The man delivers the good news to Max. The intelligence division has completed the background check on Marianne Besséjour and has allowed her to move to London. Frank expresses skepticism about this venture, reminding his friend that marriages formed on assignments do not tend to last. With a smile, Max invites his superior to the wedding. Despite the horrors of wartime, our characters arrange a true celebration for themselves, complete with a wedding cake and champagne. Amidst the festivities, an air raid alarm sounds, but the couple pays no attention to it. In the subsequent scene, Marie is carried out of a burning maternity house. The bombing of the city has begun, and she is forced to give birth under such extreme conditions. Max remains by her side throughout, providing support to his beloved. A new life enters the world, and it seems that our characters are oblivious to the chaos unfolding around them. They name the baby girl Anna. A year passes, and the couple lives happily together in a London home. Max continues his work at the headquarters, while Mary cares for their daughter. Man is granted a weekend off for the first time in a month, so the couple plans a small vacation for themselves. They intend to invite friends and host a party for everyone. However, during lunchtime, a phone call interrupts their plans, urgently summoning Max back to work at the secret department.
What the hell is it that's so important?
Liberating your country?
The situation appears to be that our protagonist has been called upon to be entrusted with a new secret mission. As Man enters the office, he preemptively apologizes and politely declines the offer. However, based on the expressions on the faces of those present, he understands that the situation is far more serious. An unknown man informs Max that his wife is, in fact, a German spy, and they possess substantial evidence to support this claim. Recent interrogations of a captured German officer reveal that Marianne Besséjour was executed back in 1941, and her identity was assumed by a German agent with a strikingly similar appearance. Furthermore, it is revealed that the German ambassador murdered in Casablanca was in reality a dissident, and Hitler himself ordered his elimination. Max refuses to accept what he is being told. He firmly believes in his wife's innocence and dismisses all the evidence as false. The man is offered a standard screening procedure. Tonight, he will receive a phone call at home, during which false classified information will be dictated to him. He must write it down and leave it in a conspicuous place. If this information is encrypted in the next radio intercept, then the suspicions will prove to be true, and Max will be tasked with executing his wife personally. Alternatively, if Man fails to comply, he will be considered an accomplice and face execution for treason. If Commander Vathan is correct and his wife is truly innocent, then this conversation can be dismissed as nothing more than a troubling dream.
Now, Wing Commander, you will go home and carry on as if nothing's happened.
Back at home, Man tries to conceal his troubled expression. In the evening, at the designated time, the phone rings. The notebook with the dictated notes is left in a conspicuous spot. The next morning, Max informs his wife that he is going to fetch drinks for the guests, but instead he goes to the hospital to meet a man who personally knows Marianne Besséjour. Defying orders, the commander embarks on his own investigation. Unfortunately, the man was severely injured in combat and has lost his sight, rendering him unable to perform a visual identification. However, he provides Max with the name of another person who is acquainted with the girl. The individual is Monsieur Delamar, a French partisan residing in Dieppe. Later on, Max arrives at a military airfield and seeks out the pilot who is scheduled to fly to France that day. He presents the pilot with a photograph of his wife and requests assistance in identifying the person in it.
No one must know, you understand?
You can count on me, sir.
In the evening, a large group of unfamiliar faces gathers at the Vathans' house. Everyone indulges in alcohol and has fun in every possible way, but Max remains vigilant. Throughout the evening, he carefully observes the interactions involving his wife. One of his colleagues becomes heavily intoxicated and, when left alone, shares some information with Max. George is aware that Max is on a secret mission, but he believes it to be a mere test before a potential promotion. The colleague considers it to be an immensely responsible position that cannot be obtained through a regular interview. Following this conversation, Max returns to the living room and looks at his wife with a sense of relief. Shortly thereafter, his boss arrives at the house and informs him that one of their planes has just been blown up in France due to the pilot's significant delay in departure, in accordance with his orders. Upon hearing this news, Max approaches his assistant and inquires about the timing of the next flight to France. Suddenly, enemy planes appear in the sky, and the bombing of London begins. We witness the air defense efforts and hear the blaring sirens. One of the downed planes alters its course and starts descending directly toward their vicinity. Spotting this, Max rushes into the house and shields his wife and child. With a deafening roar, the plane flies over the roof and crashes just behind the house.
Max, tomorrow we have a holiday with Anna. Let's make the best day ever.
I like that.
In the morning, our characters, seemingly oblivious to the surrounding horrors, enjoy a semblance of normal family life as they sit in the backyard. However, their respite is short-lived, as Max remains determined to uncover the truth. In the evening, he retrieves his wife's photograph once again and heads to the military airfield. This time, he takes control of the plane himself, intending to transport the cargo and personally question the French partisan. Upon arriving in Tip Airport, he is informed that Delamar has recently been arrested for drunkenness. Wathan urgently requests to be taken to the police station to speak with the detainee. The partisans face no difficulties gaining access to Delamar's cell. Unfortunately, the man is too intoxicated to provide coherent answers to Max's questions. Nonetheless, during their conversation, Delamar shares a funny story involving Marianne Bass-Jouar, in which she sang and played the piano while surrounded by the enemy. Upon returning home, Max asks his wife to entrust the baby to a neighbor and accompany him. The two of them arrive at a bar where a musical instrument is set up. Max requests that a girl play the French national anthem, La Marseillaise, just as it was played when Marianne found herself encircled by German soldiers.
I know the story. She was a very brave woman.
In tears, the girl confesses that she is, indeed, a German spy. She expresses deep remorse to the situation, as she genuinely loves Max. Girl had wanted to cease her activities, but the Germans began to threaten their daughter. Furthermore, it is revealed that she has already transmitted the false message, meaning that Max will soon be ordered to execute his wife. The main characters love each other, so they decide to flee the country together. Commander eliminates the other German agents, and, taking Anna with them, they all make their way to a military airfield. While Max prepares the plane for takeoff, the girl sits in the back of the car with the baby. However, Frank arrives at the plane and blocks their escape. He explains that the cipher with the fabricated data was intercepted, leaving them with only one viable option. He asks Max to carry out the execution of his wife, as failure to comply will result in death for both of them and leave little Anna as an orphan. Due to his love for his wife, Max cannot bring himself to commit such an act. In the meantime, the girl retrieves a gun from the glove compartment and embraces Anna one last time.
Wait, Frank.
Max, take good care of her.
Frank informs the approaching soldiers that Commander Watton personally executed the enemy agent, thus helping his friend character avoid punishment. The day before, the girl had written a farewell letter, anticipating that her true identity might be exposed. In the letter, she professed her love for her husband and addressed her daughter. She conveyed that the year they spent together in London was the most wonderful time of her life. The film concludes with a scene of Max and the now-grown Anna walking together on a ranch. I would like to express my gratitude to everyone who stayed until the end. Your support, likes, and comments greatly contribute to the growth of this channel.